I couldn't help but wonder, Nicholas, whether or not some people who were slamming it realised that maybe they were actually being quite offensive to British values and British culture, because that was a display of British culture, wasn't it?
Amidst the stately corridors of Buckingham Palace, a poignant dilemma unfolds. King Charles, sovereign of tradition and duty, contemplates a journey across the Atlantic. His destination? Not a diplomatic mission, but a heartfelt pilgrimage to embrace his American-born grandchildren, Archie and Lilibet. Hindered by distance and legal disputes, this familial saga begs the question: can royal duty bridge the gap between continents and hearts? King Charles is considering a potential state visit to America to reunite with his grandchildren, Archie and Lilibet. Despite having a close relationship with Prince William's children, he has only met Lilibet once and seen Archie a few times. The king desires more time with them and stays connected through video calls from their Montecito home. Queen Camilla supports efforts to strengthen family bonds, as shown by Charles's recent gestures towards Lilibet. However, Prince Harry's legal disputes over security in the UK have hindered his willingness to bring the children overseas. Charles is exploring options for an official visit to the US, aiming to spend quality time with his youngest son and grandchildren, although logistical challenges remain. Harry, on the other hand, is reportedly seeking a UK base near his father's estate amid speculation about closer ties with his family. First, I can understand and would like to see Harry's children, but come on, be grateful for the three you do see. All you are doing is giving Harry more ammunition to blackmail you, and give Harry more ammunition to carry on trying to manipulate, needing more security at the taxpayer's expense. Unfortunately, he sees everything as an entitlement, remembering he preferred to stay in a hotel rather than the royal palace he was offered. Please give Harry space to grow up and concentrate on what you have heard for your family. Here need you. But let's look at this issue more carefully and deeply. If King Charles wanted to make a visit to America to meet Archie and Lilibet, this would not be a simple journey, but could be considered a visit to two countries. Don't take this lightly. Lilibet and Archie, his grandchildren, may not even know that he exists, because they have only met him a few times and probably don't remember him as much as a grandfather. With the geographical separation between the UK and the US, along with ongoing legal disputes, King Charles visiting Prince Harry's grandsons in the US has become a huge challenge. Furthermore, concerns about the royal family's security are also an important factor that cannot be overlooked. Legal arguments over providing security for Harry and his family also make organizing such a trip more complicated than ever. In this context, the question arises whether royal duties and responsibilities can overcome geographical distances, legal barriers, and security challenges to strengthen bonds of friendship and affection with the royal family, my nephew or not, and what will be the results of King Charles's efforts to maintain and foster relationships with Archie and Lilibet as the world around them is watching and waiting. However, hopefully, Harry is under no illusions, because just because King Charles wants to see his grandchild, that doesn't mean Harry has been forgiven. It is known that Harry has also sought to settle his family near his father's Highgrove mansion, a sign of his intention to reunite with his closest loved ones. But Harry better give up on this idea. No one welcomes him and his narcissistic wife. So what about those children? With no sign or confirmation that they existed, they remained a mystery to him and many others. Archie and Lilibet, the young souls of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, were born and raised in a secluded life in America, with few public appearances and observations, mainly through photographs. So why did King Charles waste time visiting them? Nonsense. Any trip he would make to Montecito would be monetized by the Markles. It's not happening. The idea that King Charles could simply hop across the Atlantic for a casual visit is absurd in the context of the media circus that surrounds Harry and Meghan. Every move and every gesture would be scrutinized, sensationalized, and inevitably capitalized upon by a couple who have made a name for themselves in the world of celebrity and controversy. The notion of a quiet, heartfelt reunion between grandfather and grandchildren amidst the tranquil hills of Montecito seems increasingly unlikely against the backdrop of ongoing legal battles and security concerns. The very concept of royal duty and familial ties becomes mired in the complexities of privacy, publicity, and profit. For King Charles, navigating these turbulent waters to reach out to Archie and Lilibet represents not just a personal desire, but a diplomatic and logistical puzzle of immense proportions. Therefore, to entertain the idea that such a visit could occur without becoming a media spectacle or a commercial opportunity for the Markles is, quite frankly, wishful thinking in today's celebrity-driven world. Besides, I don't believe for a second that King Charles will visit officially the U.S. simply because he wants to see his grandchildren. That will be an insult to the American people. They will say, "Are you doing this visit because you want to see your grandchildren?" The welcome could turn nasty. Give some credit to King Charles. Maybe he isn't too well physically, but as far as I know, he is mentally sound to even consider doing anything like that. But calm down. This could be a trick by Meghan and Harry, all of which are flattering to the Sussexes and inflate their importance in the scheme of things. A state visit involves millions of dollars of expense and security, and many months of detailed arrangements done at the highest level. They are undertaken as soft diplomacy. No possible way would it be done during a U.S. election year and merely to pander to a private visit on the side. Harry was content to decline many previous invitations for his young children, live with the consequences of his actions, and Highgrove has now passed to the current Prince of Wales, William. Doubtful Harry will be looking for a place nearby. As mentioned above, if King Charles really came to America, then the nature of this state visit would mean an official visit, which would be to see the president, not King Charles III's wayward son and grandchildren. If the king wanted to see Harry, he would do so privately. As it is, Harry and Meghan were told no when they wanted a ride home from the UK on Air Force One. They are not part of the state, except as private citizens. Their titles mean nothing in the USA, which is why it is so bizarre that they insist on not only keeping them, but making sure their poor invisible children are prince and princess. Trip would be. The king would lose respect if he made the move to travel to America to see the Harkles and their children. He has 3 beautiful grandchildren here who are dutiful and respectful. Remember, these are not just Harry's children, and their mother does not like England. Do not give her the satisfaction of a royal visit, because then she will think she is superior. You will also be giving her more fodder for her publicity machine. In particular, these announcements seem to be flattering the roles of Harry and Meghan, and not surprisingly, the person behind this source is Mr. Quinn. He knows that the king has never met Lilibet because Harry's lawyers stated in court that the children did not come to the UK for Platinum Jubilee due to security concerns. As for Charles traveling, he is on restricted duties due to illness, and his travel has been restricted by his medical team, so he is hardly going to go to Montecito. His royal duties will always take precedence. Of course, it is guff. Tom Quinn putting out what Harry and Meghan tell him to. He'll live to regret this. I cannot believe that a son would basically make his father, who has cancer, come to him. Yet he's looking for property near Highgrove to live. Either his children can visit their grandfather and live near Highgrove, or it's too dangerous, which is it. I bet Harry and Meghan want Highgrove left to them in Charles's will. I hope they don't get any houses. Back to the problem of 2 children, can somebody name the school the boy allegedly attends? Nobody on the planet seems to know. A quick Google search will reveal the child is not enrolled in the California school system with Harry and Meghan as parents. A letter sent to Vital Records asking for a birth certificate for the girl will reveal there are none. Many reporters cannot verify these children are residing with Harry and Meghan. He is only 5. Is enrollment mandatory? Here in the UK, he would be eligible for school last September. What about homeschooling? We already are aware of possible reports from local child services that there are no children at the Montecito house. There are no reports of toys being seen or child seats in cars. There are many absurd and difficult to accept things here. In short, never going to happen. We all know even on an official visit, Charles would never make a visit to the Markle household. It would be just playing into their hands. Also, I very much doubt Charles has any interest in anything Harry has produced. He has 3 very beautiful grandchildren and even step-grandchildren that he has had a close relationship with since birth. Why would he have feelings for 2 kids he does not even know, especially given the problems the parents have brought him? One thing is for sure, they cannot be that important to him since not one photo, either official or family snap, exists of Charles with the said children. The Markles, would have ensured it was aired by now if one did. I think like the Queen who refused to be photographed with them, Charles is avoiding the same act. Okay, fine. Don't start feeding us a daily dose of how the king is planning a trip to the US to see his grandchildren. Sure, it fills your quota, but it gets old really fast, and if such an occasion should occur, we'd prefer to wait until the palace specifically states a trip is in the works. I hardly see the king making a trip to see Harry when this selfish man-child doesn't have the decency to accept his father's invite last month. Should such a trip occur, surely the king and Camilla won't stay with the Sussexes. There'd be a camera and recorder in every room. Harry has nothing to stop him coming to the UK with the children, except Meghan, and his court cases which he wants the UK to pay for which he is just being stubborn about. He is delusional. He can pay himself as we don't miss him here or need him and her. There's nowhere to escape. It's the Muppets' mouthpiece, Tom Quinn, with his tall tales and vivid imagination. Mr. Quinn needs a reality check. He keeps stirring the pot with the same result. I hope he has a good nest egg because he is diminishing his marketability. So, making a 75-year-old man fighting cancer travel 5,000 miles because his son won't bring the kiddies to UK will never happen, and I don't believe it's even an idea apart from in the minds of the Los Angeles royal baiting duo. I'm sure Queen Camilla and Prince William both would make sure that never happened. I believe Charles listens to Camilla and don't forget what Harry said about her in his book. And I also believe that Charles knows exactly what these two get up to and won't be drawn into any of their little schemes. I still respect Meghan since she covers it so skillfully until now. After several years, Archie is 5 years old, and Lilibet is 3 years old. Neither Meghan nor Harry have left any sign or evidence of their existence or not. Thus, what happened at last? I lack the patience needed to guess anymore. I so began to investigate, and thanks to my network of contacts, here is the reality. Please everyone get in a comfy state of mind and watch this video through until the very finish. Given the facts, Meghan Markle seems rational to think to be the biological mother of Archie and Lilibet. Oh, what wonderful it would be for Meghan and Harry to have a little princess for her and a boy for him. That would be really fantastic. They produced a quite lovely picture here. Still, it runs counter to the millions of people staring in from beyond. I have plenty of questions. Issues that have been raised are a child 20 years old who is believed to have been abandoned by her, pillows, hysterectomies, a yacht girl, 1 or 2 spouses, falsehoods, truths, and a degree of cruelty we have never seen in the royal family prior. These days, they are social misfits practically totally abandoned by civilization and subsist on their cunning. It is approaching both of them really near. Meghan, what now? 2 children exist, and this is something one can clearly observe. Whether Meghan could have conceived 3 children and delivered all 3 of them is the issue that has to be addressed. Is there another possible explanation? The weight of evidence suggests that this points to something else. Baldrick often used the line, "I have a cunning plan," in the Blackadder cartoon series. These 2 people, who are not especially clever, should have known they were under constant observation. As Sherlock Holmes would have said, the fact that they feigned to have a miscarriage and then demanded that they kept it and claimed they would bury it in their yard should have alerted everyone engaged that something was happening. The Queen must have had a comprehensive report about this woman a very long time ago, yet she nevertheless behaved as though she were a child to show that she might conceive. The Queen said something in Harry's ear that sent their little planet spiraling down on them. She seemed to me to be attempting to convey something. Though Meghan left for a variety of reasons, the issue of Archie at the time must have been a major one. The young people might have Harry's DNA. This marks ends. Still stated, there are 4 of them overall. Harry's DNA is obviously important, but if they originate from his wife, they are illegitimate and would not be in line of succession. That is the legal situation, but Harry and Meghan will surprise surrogacy on us when the time is right. King Charles III is going to be lost sooner rather than later, and although his popularity is relatively strong at 61%, it is gradually dropping. At some point, being considerably younger and progressive, the public in the UK will not want to see Harry's offspring labeled as illegitimate for succession considerations, and will not care that they did not arise from joinder with Meghan's eggs. That time is not now, so Harry keeps developing his own reputation as well as Meghan, personally and as a couple, or as a brand, or as royals in exile. All of it is marketing. When the moment is perfect, they will spew lies and grumble that the royal family and its narrow-minded customs compelled them to lie about the children. Remember, this couple intends not to go away in shame. Neither Harry nor Meghan have any personal desire in playing as actual professional royals, nor do they expect any child will pursue the career. Being viewed and embraced as royals means they get to lick the icing, which is, after all, the nicest part of the cake. Their craziness has a method. You simply have to stand back and examine their long con closely. To be really honest, the Markle family knew she underwent a hysterectomy at the age of 29 years. For a young lady in childbearing age, this is really unusual. Perhaps the kids were born with a surrogate mother utilizing Prince Harry's sperm. Thus, if they exist, the children are essentially his offspring. The question is, why are the kids locked away as though they never exist? Meghan is the kind of person who will employ anything to get attention and reputation. Rather unusual behavior. The airport personnel said there were no children on the trip, yet the children arrived with them previous visit together. Not surprised King Charles is starting to ignore them. They seriously disrupt any family. People are more concerned with the line of succession, hence we are not overly concerned about Harry and his kids being hauled back to the UK. First of all, most UK residents simply want to eat this phony marriage. Majority of them dislike and totally loathe Meghan and Harry. Support nonetheless, it is merely a minor, meaningless fraction. Furthermore, do we not still have Prince William? He is working for the royal family day and night. His offspring will likewise be well educated and in the prospective line of succession. Specifically, the law states that children of wild animals are not regarded as part of the line of succession. Thus, Parliament will not approve to provide Harry's children any authority. Harry and his false family so have no justification for existing in power. Meghan is indeed rather good. Do you guys realize that we fall short of her? About this woman, what attribute most speaks to you? You most likely won't be able to live your whole life like Meghan does. Is it clear what I'm attempting to say? Funny. 3 seconds will let you consider it. 1, 2, 3. All right, let me explain so you may consider it and see if it holds true. Meghan Markle is today the Duchess of Sussex. Now you will ask about the traits that make her so charming. She was successful in doing what would usually be seen as a massive task, however she was able to complete it. She carried out an act never seen before by another woman for a very long duration. Her search for and marriage of a prince brought her elevation to the rank of princess of a royal family and notoriety. I also included lucky on that list since she met Harry after he had been in the army for 10 years. Distant from the other royals who felt he was safer in Afghanistan and far from civilized society, where he spent 9 out of 10 of his time playing with his Xbox. The fact that she has been married once or twice, and by all the men who have used her as a rubber doll, complicates the chore even more, claims one of the air service soldiers assigned to keep him from damage. With the probable exception of visits to Kabul for a night out and Alibabas, belly dancers and kebabs, you can thus assume that he went 10 years without a lady. He was lucky since she was waiting for him just when he was let out from the army, all suited with the wiggle and giggle of a well-seasoned boat girl. We know that her stay in the Jeffrey Epstein stable gave her all the knowledge she had to dazzling a sex-starved man recently freed from jail, more precisely, the army. Along with a man who is excitedly anticipating a willing party, it also depends on luck, timing, and a smart strategy. We were rather lucky too, since our Harry was the kind of guy who was immediately enthralled by a seasoned lady such as Meghan. More lucky still is the fact that he seemed to be searching for a mother figure as well. He was also uninteresting. Of course, now the circle seems to be whole with him, either a daughter or a mother. We currently know that fact. What then was his intellectual capacity? Allow me to investigate. Her nasty, oily, melanoma-looking butchered face, her filthy rat hair, her buffalo teeth, her syphilis-ridden guts, her rotten-out womb due to endless abortions and STDs, her box jellyfish waist, her unionized skeleton stork velociraptor legs and feet, her incredible stupidity, unintelligibility, inner evil, fakery, emptiness, vulgarity, and embodiment of absolute rashness. Not exactly charming, though. I support someone clearing the planet of that waste of space. Well, that's all for today's video. Thank you very much for watching our video. And what do you think about this issue? Please express your opinion in the comments below. Hope you will always be cheerful and happy. Don't forget to support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Goodbye and see you again in the next videos.